regular school board meeting of Independent School District number 882. It is 6 p.m. on Monday, August 18th. Good evening. And welcome as I call to order the regular school board meeting of Independent School District number 882 at 6 p.m. on Monday, August 18th. It's good to see all your smiling faces on a beautiful day like today, so thanks for joining us. Please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. And now we're looking for approval of the tentative agenda. So moved.
Second.
Moved by Melissa Curtis, seconded by Casey Root. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please say no. Motion passes 6-0. All right, now we're moving on to citizen comment number 4. We don't have any tonight. So then we'll move right along to fiscal stability, needing action on our consent agenda. So moved.
Second.
Moved by Melissa Curtis, seconded by Casey Root. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please say no. Motion passes 6-0. On to item number 6, collaborative connections. I will pass the mic over to Superintendent Eric Olson to talk about the gifts we've received.
All right, we have 2 gifts to bring forward for acceptance here tonight. The first one from the Monty class of 1985, and they brought forward $623 to the Magic Closet to help students in need. And then the Tom Keaton Foundation brought forward $3,000 for academic support at the Monticello High School for the 25-26 year. And just as a reminder, this is the program to make sure that all of our student athletes and participants in activities are doing their job to keep up on their grades. And this is a support effort for them in case they fall behind. We like to hold them accountable to making sure that they're meeting the standards of a student athlete and a student.
Therefore, be resolved by the Monticello School Board number 882 to gratefully accept the following donations. Monty class of 1985, $623 for the Magic Closet. Tom Keating Foundation, $3,000 for academic support for Monticello High School for the 2025-2026 school year.
Second.
Moved by Jeff Hegle, seconded by Mary Barthel. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, please say no. Motion passes 6-0. And thank you to our gracious donors. It's incredible how much money our community gives. All right, next, item number 7, teaching and learning. Help me welcome up to the podium Director of Special Education, John Weekly, to go over the year-end review and look ahead for 2025-2026.
Thank you. So last year went really, really fast. It was almost like a blur. We had a lot going on within the cooperative, and I'm really excited to get in front of you to kind of give you updates regarding some of those cooperative updates, as well as all the exciting work that we did in collaboration with Monticello School District and also Becker and Big Lake School Districts. So thank you for your time today. So I'm entering my 4th year as the Director of Special Education within the cooperative. And I just want to give some quick thanks to the board, as well as all of the administration and families in Monticello and the cooperative. I'm going to give you a little overview of some of those services that we do provide. I'm not going to be able to click on that, am I, Gavin? Can you click on that comprehensive services provided for me? Perfect, thank you very much. So within the cooperative, we serve Monticello, Becker, and Big Lake, and some of the services that we provide are special education administration, school psychologists, related services, assistive technology, early childhood, special education evaluations, special education reporting, grant writing, nursing services, and new in 25-26 is an instructional coach position. So we identified a critical need in supporting our new special education teachers. We have more Tier 1, Tier 2 licensed teachers than ever before. And so we had an opportunity to add this position, and we have an existing coordinator that is sliding into that position for next year. She'll be supporting special education teachers that are brand new to the field in Becker, Big Lake, and Monticello. It's a real starting point for us. It's something that as we move forward, we're going to continue to evaluate those supports for special education teachers, but it's a great starting point for us, and I'm excited about it. Some of the programs that we deliver are birth to 3 early interventions, K through 12 center-based DCD ASD programming. And last year we took on a pretty big undertaking in shifting our program design for setting 4 programs as well as a location. And I'm very happy to report that that transition went way better than I could even have imagined. We started off with kind of up against the wall with timelines. The construction in that site didn't get finished up until the day before students were to arrive. And so it was a mad scramble. Staff kind of united us as a staff. We were able to get together, help put together equipment. We were still painting walls and welcome them into the building. And with some growing pains in the months of September and October, we navigated it. And we probably had one of our best years statistically in regards to behavior management. And I'm gauging that by our restrictive procedures in the programs with that shift. We were able to put all those programs kind of off islands and underneath an umbrella. And we're calling that umbrella moving forward this year as Pathways Program. So the Pathways Program will have our level 4 programs for Foundations 1, which is elementary emotional behavioral disorders, Foundations 2, which is our secondary program for emotional behavioral disorders, as our RISE program, which is students with autism and developmental cognitive delays and some level of dysregulation. And then we have a new addition last year that we started up called the Summit program, and that's kind of a stepping stone program to allow students to have more independence and prepare them for reintegration into their home school districts, which is our overall goal, is to reintegrate students and not have them stagnant in setting 4 programs. So it was a great start for us. I'm pleased to give you that update. We got to really give a lot of credit to the staff that we're kind of operating, as independent programs, and now they're coming together as one big program underneath an umbrella. And the collaboration has been really impressive. And so I'm really pleased to give you that update. Some other things that important initiatives, thank you for sliding along there, was continuing to work with Monticello School District in regards to a roadmap for special education. And I gave you a copy of it because there's no way I'm going to be able to encapsulate it in the couple minutes that I have. But I would like you to take a peek at it. And if you have any questions on that roadmap, feel free to email me directly. One of the things I'd like to throw out to you as a board and anybody else that would like to join us on this is we're going to set up some opportunities to do some co-op tours this year. And so I'll work with Eric Olson and some of the administrators to kind of orchestrate when that would work best. But I'd like to be able to invite you out to see the programs. It's a lot easier for me to talk to you conceptually about the programs and show you at the same time. But one of the big things that we're gearing up for this year is in regards to 18 to 22 programming. So similar to what we did with the shift of level 4 programming to kind of work more collaboratively as a collective group and maximize our resources, we're looking to do the same thing for our transition 18 to 22 programs. And those programs currently, we made some big steps last year and we're continuing to plan this year, but we really want to operate as one program instead of 4 separate programs and have a full continuum of levels of care within the 18 to 22 programming, some levels basically. So we'll have our C5 program, which is primarily for our students that maybe have the lowest level of self-independence at this time, but we don't want them to be stagnant in that program. We want them to be able to move up the levels of independence, and we have a Connections South program and a Connections North program. Historically, our Connections North program has been operating out of the Big Lake location, and our Connections South program is in Monticello at Eastview. So eventually, we'd like to be able to have all those programs working in really close proximity to each other. We have some planning to do in regards to that, but wanted to give you an update in regards to our big picture vision in that regard. And then additionally, a really strong initiative that we've been working hard the last 3 years on and will continue to do is our just inter-district collaboration with our other member districts within the cooperative. The superintendents have been awesome in regards to planning as much as we can together. It just makes us, the more we're aligned, the better we will be. But additionally, we're looking at, with our staff development this year, we're reinstituting something that was kind of a past practice in the cooperative and went away for a number of different reasons, but a shared special education summer institute. And so on August 21st, this Thursday, we're bringing in all the special education teachers from the 3 member districts and the cooperative for a half day of special ed specific training. And so that was a big, huge addition to our game plans for this year. In regards to something else I kind of want to share with you, and I can't give you the exact data yet, we'll have it all the way tabulated probably in early October, was our restrictive procedure data. And we've had a steady decrease in the amount of restrictive procedures we've needed to do over the last 5 years. And that's a byproduct of a really strong Handle with Care training group that does that training for our member districts. And we've also added into our menu of options some UKERU. And UKERU is a mindset of really hands-off approaches to managing dysregulated students. It's a great program. It's really hard to implement across every building because each of our buildings' designs are so different as regards to space and staffing allocations and so forth. So we're trying to figure out a way to encapsulate it more into more of our programming. But the UKERU within our level 4 programs has really reduced our restrictive procedures. In fact, we didn't have any restrictive procedures in our setting 4 programs after, I believe it was March. And some of you could probably attest to the fact that it was pretty frequent in the past years, particularly in the spring. And so it's something that we want to continue to build on and figure out how we can incorporate the methodology of UKERU across the member districts. So stay tuned for more discussions on that. In regards to the blueprint plan, and I know I only got a couple more minutes here, so it's always a struggle to give you all the information that I want to give you. But this was a really collaborative approach between our superintendent, Eric Olson, our special education coordinator, Cindy Fashing at the time, and Laura will be joining us on this journey, or Stiebner, and the administration in regards to really looking at how we do vendor services for special education and how we can really have a roadmap so that we can make sure that we're doing it in a very inclusive manner. And some of those goals that we have is enhancing staff competencies and student outcomes, creating inclusive and collaborative school cultures, and then really using data better to design our individual IEP plans as well as monitor our progress towards those goals. So kind of in summary here, I'm really excited to look forward to this next school year. We have some people that I have to say farewell to. We have 3 new coordinators coming into our cooperative. So that means we have to say goodbye to 3 coordinators. And so Rachel Casper, who was the coordinator in charge of our level 4 programs, she moved to Cambridge DeSanti as a director, and we wish her well. Lana Talberg, who was a longtime coordinator within the district, has moved to Princeton, and we also wish her well. Monica O'Neill was a coordinator in Big Lake last year, a longtime coordinator within the cooperative, is shifting roles to be that instructional coach that I talked to you about. So I'm really excited about that. She has a lot of experience and will really support those new teachers very well. And we get a welcome, though, 3 new coordinators, which are Brian Burns, Chelsea Wickland, and Jenna O'Brien. And they'll be joining our team. We have 7 total coordinators that support the member districts and look forward to working closely with them. All right, any questions for me?
Well, that was awesome, John. Thanks for coming in and sharing with us your update. So I don't think a lot of people understand how unique your position is, that the co-op means it's not just Monticello, it's Monticello, Big Lake, and Becker, all those kids. So can you tell us exactly the number of staff that you oversee?
The exact number?
Well, close. Can you give me a close number?
So it kind of depends. It depends on how you look at it from a cooperative standpoint. I think I most directly supervise the cooperative. I share responsibilities with superintendents and principals within those other districts. I would say that it's definitely around the 100 and something realm for the cooperative straight employees. And then when you're talking about just special education in general, we're up in, it's a little daunting. We have like 300 and some different special education staff across the cooperative.
That's what I think is important for people to know, is that you are, when you look at the org chart that was made, you, by and large, almost have the most amount of people that fall underneath your...
Luckily, we are strong collaborators. And the more important piece is that these are regular education students first, they're not special education students first. And so everybody that supports any student supports special education. So I feel confident that we have a great team to support them, but yes, it could be a little daunting if you just look at the
Yeah.
straight numbers.
Yeah, it's unique, so I think it's important that people
Appreciate
know
that.
that it's a big task, so thank you.
Are you able to just, I forgot one slide I wanted to show you, and I don't have if you want to go to that approximate special education counts one there, Gavin, I appreciate it. And we'll have to make it probably a little bit bigger. But I wanted to be able to share this with you as well. So every December, we get updated counts for special education. So next December, this upcoming December, we'll have new counts, but this is going back as the December of last year. And so if you see there, Monticello has approximately 758 total students in special education, which puts us at about an 18.6% percentage of students in special education within Monticello. If you compare it against cooperative's easy. That's 100% because every student that is in the cooperative program has to have an IEP. But if you slide down, you can compare it against Becker and Big Lake. Thank you, Gavin, for doing that. So we have a slightly lower percentage than actually Becker, which is a smaller district. And we're right on par with Big Lake in regards to our special education numbers. If you total all those special education students together across the cooperative, we're making a pretty big impact in a lot of students. And we want to have better roadmaps for that. So that's part of why I'm excited about Monticello kind of leading the charge with our special education blueprint. And I think it's something that we're going to be able to bring to Becker and Big Lake as well. And so thank you for spearheading that effort, Eric.
What other questions does the board have? No, thank you for
you.
sharing with us, and we'll look forward to seeing even more dial into that awesome number of the percentages decreasing for restrictive holds. That's huge.
I'll share an update once we get the actual counts on that, and because I'm going to be bragging.
Okay,
All right.
we like that.
Thank you for your time, and as I notoriously do, I always go over my minutes, so I apologize for that.
Okay, we
You did
love it.
awesome, John. Yeah,
you.
very clear.
All right, now we will move on to item number 8, innovation and leadership, and I'll pass the mic over to Superintendent Eric Olson to welcome someone new to our district.
All right. Well, I like to bring forward Candy Dahlstrom. I'm excited about is I got to be on the interview committee. I got to be on the interview committee with Cammie, with the high school staff, and I got to know Cammie early on in her tenure with Monticello Public Schools. And the one thing you'll know about her is she's very eager, she's well-spoken, and I love how she digs right in. I'm hearing from the high school principals that she is unwrapping District 882 online, and she's also getting ready to oversee the ALP, and meeting people has been one of the things that she's been, making sure that she's done a lot of here over the past month that she's been here with us. So we finally got her to a board meeting, and I'm excited to bring Cammie Dahlstrom, learn a little bit about her from her, and the board will get a chance to welcome you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Olson. Again, like he said, my name is Cammie Dahlstrom. I come into Monticello this is my 23rd year in education. I've spent 16 years in the classroom as a science teacher, biology, beginner EL science, anatomy and physiology, AP bio. And then I've spent 5 years as an assistant principal at Benilde St. Margaret's. So a lot of time in education. I know my first love was just working with youth. So Monticello schools, every kid, every day is exactly what kind of I speak about every day is, how can we meet kids where they are? How can we create those relationships with them, not only them, but also their families, and welcome them in. So I'm excited to be in this position. I've been coaching for a long time as well, softball, swimming, ran Relay for Life. So this team that I have sitting in the back here that I've met, they're amazing. So I think we're going to be a really collaborative group, and we're going to be a great team working together. And I'm excited to see where we can kind of mesh the 8A2 and ALP and make it one big family so everybody feels really inclusive when they get into high school. So, yeah, I'm excited. But thank you so much for the time today and getting to know each and every one of you. I've met a few of you, but hopefully I'll get to know you guys a little bit more in the future. Thank you.
And we look forward to that. Can you tell us a little bit more about, like, do you have a long drive? What are your hobbies and interests? You got some kids?
Yes, I do
animals?
have. Yes, I have. I live in Independence, which is in the Orono School District. So I have 3 girls, and they're all teenagers. So bear with me. One's going to be a senior, one's going to be a freshman in high school, and then one's going to be a 7th grader. So they all play softball and they all play tennis. So very busy, and I have a husband too. Yeah, he's there, and he's very patient with a house of 4 women and a female dog. So most patient guy I know. But yeah, it's about a 37-minute drive, and I get to enjoy the countryside on the way here. So beautiful time to unwind and get ready for the day or wind down on the way home. It's nice.
Going the opposite way of traffic, so that's
Yeah.
nice. What other
Fantastic.
questions do we have for Cami?
Yeah, please.
Just want to say welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah, we met in policy. Welcome.
Yeah, we did. Thank you. Thanks, Casey.
We did. Well, we have you a little welcome gift for you. Not that you need more to share, but we did.
So sweet. Thank you. Oh, I love it.
We just want to make things a little bit more difficult, so good
This
luck
is
keeping
fantastic.
this alive.
No,
and-
no, I'm kind of
Welcome to the
I'm kind of a green thumb actually. So
Are
this will
you?
be-
That's
yes.
good, because I've killed every orchid I've ever owned. They're so pretty at first.
They
and
are.
they
Oh,
don't
this
like
is
me, so-
awesome. Thank
Yeah, so
you.
welcome to the team.
Thank you.
Sieben, they're going to get a picture with you.
Sure.
All right, now we're moving on to item number 9, safe and healthy culture. We're going to bring up our Director of Human Resources, Rob Daniker, to go over the little edits on the high school handbook. That is an action item.
Thank you, Chair Sieben, members of the board, Superintendent Olson. So the first thing in Section 9 of the agenda is the approval of the high school handbook. As you're aware, the high school went through a major transition prior to this past school year and transitioning to trimesters, and so a lot of the amending of that handbook had to do with that, the continued implementation and transition to the trimester model. As well, we had in the last work session, the board shared a conversation about one of the language items in there, and actually Superintendent Olson facilitated some good crosstalk with the city about what the city is going to do specific to e-bikes and electric dirt bikes is the term. And so we amended some language in there as well, proposing that for approval tonight. And then just one minor thing to add, it affects the high school handbook, but also the other handbooks that we've previously approved. We were made aware today that MDE has in the last, I'm not sure how recent it was, but they amended their requirement for posting the MCA opt-out information for students and parents. Previous, it had been the requirement of the district to post it on the district website, and now it is to be posted in its complete format, not only on the district website, but also in any student handbooks that the district offers. And so we'll be adding that as a back page to each of our handbooks. We do no augmentation or modification of that document. We just take it straight from the MDE website. It's a 2-page document, so we'll plug it onto the back of each of our handbooks as well.
Okay, good. And so this is an action item for the high school handbook.
So moved.
Second.
By Melissa Curtis, seconded by Casey Root. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, please say no. Motion passes 6-0. And we will continue on to item number B for the special education coordinator agreement.
Thank you, Chair Sieben. So we reached a tentative agreement with the special education coordinators on a 2-year contract. That tentative agreement was dated July 22nd. We have 7 special education coordinators that serve both the co-op and the member districts. So we have 2 specifically that serve the Monticello district, 2 that serve the Big Lake district, 1 that serves the Becker district, and 2 that are truly co-op coordinators. And so pretty evenly spread across the various departments in terms of need and programs. Just walking through the document on the summary of the tentative agreement. In terms of base salary and benefits, so as proposed in this agreement, there would be an additional step added to the salary schedule. There was previously 3 salary steps. We have agreed to add a new step, but it's not at the top end or the bottom end. It's actually year 2. The reason there is there's a large gap between step 1 and step 3. And so it made sense that if we were going to add one, we would add it there. The aggregate increase proposed for year 1 is 3.45 in terms of salary improvement. In terms of group insurance, major change here. The amended district group insurance monthly contribution moving forward would be stated to be $2,530 for family and $1,015 for single monthly. Previously, this insurance contribution was 100% of the premium borne by the district. To recognize the significant change in this model, there was a one-time stipend of $2,500 that's proposed to be to compensate each coordinator on October 1st. That is the start of the new plan year to help in that transition. And then in terms of dental insurance, again, previously there was 100% of the premium was covered by the district. And that would be in year 1 of the deal, of the agreement, I should say, that would be modified to a monthly contribution of $122. In year 2, the salary schedule increase amounts to 3.43 in year 2. The group insurance would go up from $2,530 per month to $2,606 per month for family and $1,045 for single. Dental insurance would go up to $126. In terms of language items, coordinator dues, the district would pay the coordinator fee, the annual fee that's paid towards the Board of School Administrators on behalf of the individual coordinators. As well, we modified the language regarding state and national professional organizations. Previously, the contract read state or national, and we've modified that to be state and national. That's consistent with other administrators in the district. In terms of duty year, 5 duty days were added to the contract to total 225 total days. Previously, it was 220. 2 additional holidays were added that are consistent with other administrator contracts in the district, New Year's Eve Day and also Juneteenth. Expenses not covered by insurance, similar to other administrative contracts in the district. We've moved that from a reimbursement and receipt-based model to $500 added to the base in year 1 of the agreement, and then it's set forth from there moving forward. General leave of absence, we move that if a coordinator is requesting, or I'm sorry, notifying the district of return from leave of absence, we move that deadline up from April 1st to February 1st to assist the district in planning for and preparation for the upcoming school year. Similar to other agreements that we've arrived at recently, the district also added some language to the grievance procedure, specifically that if either party unilaterally withdraws from the arbitration process after an arbitration date has been scheduled, the withdrawing party shall be responsible for all fees and expenses. Language cleanup. There are some minor pieces that we cleaned up in terms of language. There was a language piece that seemed to imply that the insurance committee was the one who decided the insurance provider and coverage and all of those details. That's not actually the case, and so we just struck that language. There was reference to part-time coordinators in the HRA language. We struck that as well. And then also, excuse me, there was language in this contract that actually provided rights in other contracts, which is not something that you can do, and so we cleaned that up also. And then finally, there was a restriction on non-eligible days for personal leave usage, and we agreed to drop that restriction. All told, the total package value over 2 years amounts to 9.62 MSBA. And you may remember at last meeting, this was on the agenda, and I came to the podium and shared that there was literally one sentence which we had some disagreement on. And the disagreement, it wasn't minor. It was one of those things where words have meaning. And so we had to clean that up, and because there was there was a disagreement between the language that had been agreed on and how it was costed out and the impact both ways. And so we were able to meet with the coordinators and clarify the intent at the negotiating table and move forward with that intent. So happy to bring this forward for action and willing to take any questions on it.
Any questions? Okay, it's an action item.
So moved, I don't know how to state it, just so moved?
Yep.
Okay, so moved.
Moved by Mary Barthel, seconded by Jeff Hegle. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please say no. Motion passes 6-0. And we'll continue to move on. Keep Rob up at the podium for item number C, second reading of our policies.
All right, so we have a number of policies tonight for second read. I think there's 8 of them total. The majority of these, minus 7 of the 8, are brought forward because of legislative updates. And that is the case with our first one, policy number 614, school district testing plan and procedure. The purpose of this policy is to set forth the school district's testing plan and procedure. Basically spells out how the district will conduct by and large, the MCA testing. And so MCA's MTAS as well, and just clarifies that and builds a procedure. Any questions on 614? Okay. Moving to 615, testing accommodations, modification, and exemptions for IEP, Section 504 plans and LEP students. The purpose of this policy is to provide adequate opportunity for students identified as having individualized education programs, or IEPs, Rehabilitation Act of 1973, Section 504 accommodation plans, otherwise known as 504 plans, or English learner or EL needs to participate in statewide assessment designed to hold schools accountable for the academic performance of all students. And again, very limited changes in this, but both 614 and 615, the policy committee had previously waited until we had the new director of teaching and learning on board to lead the review of these in policy. And so happy to say that Director Stebner was able to participate fully with the policy committee on both 614 and 615. But any questions on 615 at all? Moving forward to 707. Transportation of public school students. The purpose of this policy is to provide for the transportation of students consistent with the requirements of law. This policy, again, brought forward because of change in legislation. Last time the board had reviewed it, or I should say revised it, was in the year 2020. So there were significant modifications to update this language over the last 5 years. Particularly, there is in 707 in the previously approved version, there's some procedural language in terms of the radius that we would and how we would transport open enrolled students. That has been eliminated from the draft policy, but we will be putting together a procedure document to guide that practice because we're not moving away from it. And so we will post that procedure document alongside 707, but it will not be a procedure document that needs to be approved by the board. Any questions on 707 at all? Policy 708, transportation of non-public school students. The purpose of this policy is to address transportation rights of non-public school students and provide equal treatment in transporting such students pursuant to law. This one is pretty straightforward, and just of note, this was of significant conversation at the state capitol last year. There was some significant funding reductions proposed for the transportation of non-public students. Those did not come to fruition, and really does not impact 708 at all. But any questions on 708? Okay, moving to 722. This one was not brought forward because of legislative change. This was brought forward because of need. Monticello Public Schools, much like many other schools, school districts in the state and across the nation, has been subject to an increased number of public data requests in the recent years. And we wanted to make sure that our policy and the procedures that are outlined within match the needs of responding to those in a timely and thorough manner. So the title of 722 is Public Data and Data Subject Requests. The purpose of this policy is that the school district recognize its responsibility relative to the collection, maintenance, and dissemination of public data as provided in state statute. And then along with the policy, we have a form. And so there were minor changes that are proposed for the policy. Most notable among them is that we did not have in our policy identified a responsible authority. And so by not having responsible authority articulated, that meant that any employee of the district could be a receiving individual for any public data request, and we would be bound to honor that request. And so by establishing a responsible authority, we funnel those requests to the right individual. And then, as I said, there is a form along with Policy 722, and there were some pieces of the form that we needed to update for a good reason. One was in our current form, we did not ask, are you the subject of the request, because that creates a separate timeline. If you are the subject of the data request, the entity must respond within 10 business days. We also clarified that requests for electronic dissemination of data are interpreted in the same manner as requests for copies pursuant to the Minnesota statute. And then finally, we put the information regarding the responsible authority of the district on the form itself as well. Any questions on 722 at all? Okay. And last but not least, number 802, disposition of obsolete equipment and material. The purpose of this policy is to provide guidelines for the superintendent to assist in the timely disposition of obsolete equipment and material. The policy committee we had a good conversation about school computers and how those are disposed of, and working with Director Borgstrom, he reviewed the work of the policy committee and he agreed with the draft. Basically, because there is so much, for lack of a better term, red tape involved with the disposal of things like laptops, Chromebooks, iPads, things like that. Typically what the district does is we run them till their life is exhausted functionally, and then we dispose of them appropriately instead of selling them off. So, any questions on 802 from the board at all? Okay. And these are action items for this evening, Chair Sieben.
All right, thank you.
Recommend we accept these policies as updated and read.
Second.
By Mary Barthel, seconded by Melissa Curtis. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please say no. Motion passes 6-0. Thank you,
Thank you.
Director Daniker, for hanging up there for the majority of the meeting. All right, and that brings us to adjournment at 6:38 p.m. Our next board meeting will be on Monday, September 8th at 5 p.m. See you all there.